Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so hello. The account of Mark John, your in,
Yes, ma'am.
Ariel, Nieves, and for the iPhone user, can I request for you to put a name on your account so I can address you
Uh,
properly?
just add it.
Okay.
Okay, next time I will. Okay, I'm Marina.
Yes, hi, hello, Marina. So if you have concerns, especially with communicating with, if you're having uh, a difficulty with regards to my English or in my communication, just let me know, okay?
Okay.
So I'll just wait for the share screen feature. While waiting for that, may I just ask, does any one of you participants have medical background? I was able to interview Ariel earlier. Mark John, Nieves, and Marina.
Actually, I'm Bachelor of Science in Nursing, but
Okay,
I did
Mark
not
John.
take, yeah, but I did not take the exam yet.
Okay.
Then that's fine. I'm actually currently working in Spinis as a quality inspector.
Okay, so that's great to hear that we have someone here who has a background in a medical profession. So maybe Mark can also share his insights, especially in how to deal with learning medical terminologies, especially if we do not have the training for that. How about you, Nieves? Can you share something about yourself?
Me?
Yes, Nieves. Miss Anas?
Uh, I graduate medical college as general nurse.
Okay, so you also have a good background in terms of your anatomy and physiology, knowing the medical terms for body parts, as well as understanding disease process. So that's great. That's great news. So we can help each other during this webinar or training lesson.
Yes, and I want to ask. I have question. Okay.
Yes,
And
sure.
we can have this all these lessons as like file or some like book or like recorder or after I want because I already missed this already and
Mhm.
after I want to read again. Okay.
Yes. So
If,
for that, this slide I will be uploading it. So at the end of our conversation, I will ask you to create a Google Classroom account. So I assume we all have email address, correct? So
mm,
using your email address, I need you to register on the Google Classroom. I will give
yeah.
you the code that you will fill out. So for all the lessons, the materials that I will be presenting, I will upload it so you can return to it and study it on a later time. And aside
Oh,
from that, whatever materials, learning materials, especially that I can find, PDF, documents, or videos, I will share the links or even the file in Google Classroom so you can download it. You can read it using your tablet, your laptop, or your mobile phones. And of course, I will also give activities. I will do assessments that will help you gauge and also further strengthen your skills in the medical knowledge. So again, for level one, we have 6 weeks. So this is our first week, and this is just an introduction of expectations on how to become a medical coder and what are the career opportunities and the requirements that you need to fulfill to successfully pass a medical coding exam. And the remaining 5 weeks um, after this week we'll be talking about the different body systems as well as the diseases and the medical terminologies, laboratory procedures, as well as your anatomy and physiology that are related per system. So I'll just continue with the discussion and then we'll just catch up. And if you have questions, Okay, sorry. I was able to share the wrong screen. Can you confirm that you can see on your screen now the types of code used? Is
Yeah,
that the one displayed? Okay.
I see we can
So
see
basically,
NSPTX.
as a medical coder, we will rely on using three books. Three books for three codes. Especially the task, our agenda or our goal in taking this course is for us to pass the certification exam. And in the certification exam, we really rely heavily on using our books. And that book will be comprised of, first, you have your ICD-10 clinical management book. These are the books that contain your medical diagnosis. This is like a dictionary that the medical diagnosis are translated into the codes. Your codes are using alphanumeric codes. So for example, as I have mentioned earlier with Ariel, if your diagnosis is your acute gastroenteritis, or sometimes that's what we call diarrhea, but to be medically correct, it's your acute gastroenteritis. The code for that is A0.9. That's alpha 09. So that's what we were going to code or we will encounter in the exam. Second book, and the second codes that we will need to be very familiar with is your current procedural term. These are the codes that defines or give meaning or identify which procedures are done in the patient. So for example, for giving birth, your vaginal delivery or your normal delivery, the code for that would be 5814. So when we do our job, when we secure a medical coding or billing job already, and as well as in the exam, these are the codes that we will encounter together with the medical terminology for that. And for your HCPCS or your HCPCS level 2, these are the codes for your supplies, equipments, and gadgets. So this can be a syringe, a surgical knife, a face mask, oxygen, even medications. So let's proceed in discussing what these codes are. So as I said, your ICD-10 is the codes that you will use to identify the name of the disease. What's the reason for your consultation in the hospital, your hospitalization? So this is around 69 to 70,000 or as much as 80,000 since we are using the clinical modification. So these codes are authored by your World Health Organization, your ICD-10. But in the medical system, we're using the ICD-10 clinical modification. Sorry, I just have my computer has just restarted. So I'll take this time to entertain some questions since we're beginning already with the fundamentals of your coding. Does anyone have a question? I'll start again with Mark. Do you have any particular concern that wants to be answered in taking this course training?
Sir, can I ask a favor regarding the before we will have our discussions? Um,
Yes.
can you send us the material so that we can read in advance?
Ah, okay. Yes, I think I have to talk with the management first, if I'm allowed to do that. But for the advanced reading, what I can assure you for the succeeding weeks, especially when we're discussing the anatomy and physiology of your certain body systems, I can already give reading materials and links for that.
Ah, okay.
Okay, but just for this week's discussion, this is just basically an introduction or preparing you for your
Yeah, yeah.
expectation with regards to your medical coding examination and certification. Which is, by the way, I have checked with the AAPC and AHIMA, to which I think because of the COVID situation, as of now, with AAPC, I haven't seen a scheduled exam available here in UAE. But in the other countries, like I think in the Philippines, there's an available, but it will be around December. Also in India, there are available, and US. But I think they are now offering online exam. So with online exam, I think anywhere in the world you can sit in through a proctored exam. For AHIMA, I was browsing earlier to check also if there's an available exam already, but I cannot find the links on how to check. So that's just a head start. But anyway, we have we have 6 levels for you to finish the course, on which after the course you will receive a certification that you have done your part, you have your training in regards to your medical coding. Because for AHIMA, the other institution that offers the medical coding certificate, I think they will require you to present that you have at least the basic background in medical coding before they will allow you to take the exam. But for AAPC, it's not really an important requirement. How about you, Ariel? Do you have any questions? I'm having technical difficulties. Hope just please bear with me.
Everything is fine.
Ariel,
No,
you have any questions that you need to be addressed in regards to this
No.
course?
yeah.
Okay. Miss Ana Nieves, can you hear me? Do you have questions that you want to be answered? I think your audio is off. I cannot hear you, Miss Nieves. Can you turn your audio on?
I not understand. Please repeat.
Uh, Miss Nieves, do you have question? Because I think your speaker or your audio is turned off.
No, everything is okay. I don't have any question now. If I have after I
Do
get.
you have any question?
No. I need
No.
some files to read,
How about you?
Just I need
It's
some
okay,
files
it's okay.
and some like dictionary, everything. After you can, or in the WhatsApp group or anywhere, after I can download and read everything.
I'm sorry, you want a dictionary, a medical dictionary?
Yes.
Hmm. I haven't found yet a free version of a medical dictionary, but what I have are extensive medical terminologies book. I also have a PDF, which is this book is especially designed for medical coders. So that's something that I can share after this meeting and for you to do your advanced reading. So I'll be uploading that on Google Classroom. Don't worry. Um, it's a good resource just for basic understanding, but to be an extensive like a medical dictionary, I haven't found a resource like that yet that's freely available on the internet.
I'm here to learn medical terminology,
Yes.
because I know my job. I already know for 100%. I work in my country as a nurse. I can close my eyes and put injection on your this vena,
Yes.
and I don't have any problem. Just I have problem with my language and this medical terminology.
You have problem with your?
I need just medical terminology.
Sorry, I
because
didn't get
I
that.
was going for this
The
medical course.
language. Okay. So I will address that concern because to be frank and to be straightforward, with regards to the medical coding exam, our foundation for your medical terminology or medical language will just be helpful for you to visualize or to understand what's happening in the narrative. But in terms of passing the exam, what really matters would be for us to find the right codes using the book. So I am confident that because you have your training in your home country, it will be to cope with the expectation of the because is how you utilize the book. Because in the exam, you are given four choices. Those four choices already contains the codes. You just need to confirm if the codes available in the choices is the one that represents what is in the narrative. So in this course presentation also, I will teach you to have some techniques in your test taking strategy. So as we go on, we will develop and we will expand our medical vocabulary, but it's really our skill in how to use the book that will be our key to success in securing our certification. So let's just take this one step at a time, and as I will give the to you you I you
I
so
had like
oh yeah
have thing but this practice five. I don't search some level. Uh,
I can say we have next week we will be discussing the medical terminology as well as there will be some illustration or graphics. So it will be a good refresher course for you to understand the basic or the fundamental disease, the names of diseases, as well as procedures that you will encounter in the hospital. So in a way, you can use this, but of course, there's a different strategy in studying for your medical coding certification versus studying for your nursing um, licensure because they will tackle a different narrative situation for that. But just give this course a chance, and I know that you will
yeah,
learn and enhance your skill here. So again, for ICD 10, this is the books that we are using. So there are exams, especially for AHIMA. If you are taking AHIMA, they are offering chance for you to take the 2019 version. But I think that would be just until August. So looking forward for the exam, 2020 is about to end in what, maybe 6 months? Or yeah, maybe 4 months. So if you were going to take the AHIMA exam, investing or buying the book for 2020 would not be advisable because they will not allow it in the exam. So it's more of investing or prioritizing for you to get a copy of your 2021 book. For AAPC, the other institution that gives up the exam, it's just advisable that the current book version of the book is the one that you take in the exam. because if you're taking the 2020 exam, mostly the codes there would fall on the 2020, which are those the revised edition or the updated codes, so the changes. So if you are using the old version of the book, you may miss out the chance of finding out the correct answers because the codes may not be available in the book. But it's up to you really on which type of exam will you be getting. But just to give you a background, these are the top three authors for your book. First is you have your AAPC. AAPC is the CPC exam. Your CPC is your Certified Coding Exam. This is the test exam I took last month. Last year. AAPC is your American Association of Professional Coders. You have your second author,
Your
the
voice not come.
American.
Sorry, your voice.
My voice is not clear.
Not now
You
good.
hear me clearly now? Okay. So again, AAPC is your American Association of Professional Coders. You have your AMA, your American Medical Association, and you have your AHIVA. So the books vary in prices depending on which company or author you will buy. In my case, I took the AAPC exam, but I bought my books from AMA.
Mm.
Okay. Our next code, as I said, is for the surgery procedures. These codes are your current procedural terminology. These are all digits. These are all numbers, the codes.
Mm-hmm.
So the author of the book is only one, and it's copyright by your American Medical Association. There's no other publisher that is allowed to have a CPT book during the exam. So this is the type of book that you need to bring in the exam this year. For 2021, they are placing advance orders. So American Medical Association. Your third book or our third codes is your HCPCS. Your HCPCS is your Healthcare Procedural Coding System Level 2. As I said, these are all about the supplies, the equipment, and the other related that the institution, hospital, clinic, doctor can charge and be paid for by your insurance. So usually these Medicare, Medicaid, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, these are all American-based insurance because we are following the American health insurance system. But in the exam, you don't encounter as much as items using HCPCS codes. So in the exam, you really have more questions regarding your procedures. So using your CPT codes and your diagnosis, your ICD. HCPCS the what's great about this is you can buy them in a bundle. So you can buy the three books, which is cheaper, or you get discounts instead of buying the book per piece. So to give you an example, the amount for your AAPC bundle is around $230. So on the exam, you are required to bring your own book. So it's up to you if you want to buy a book on your own or you can rent it out. I think here in UAE, there are those people who already took their exam who rents out their books. So I'm just not sure where to find them, but from what I've heard, there are Facebook groups or they post in Facebook that for 5 days on the day of the exam, they can rent out the books for I think 200 dirhams. But if you are really invested in fulfilling a career in medical coding, just like me, I bought my own book. So for AMA, this is 235 to $266 for your books. You can buy different books from the other publishers like Elsevier, Optim, PMIC, but I really do suggest that you just go to the top three, which is your AHIMA, AMA, and your AAPC. So you can canvas in Amazon, or you can go directly to the websites of these three institutions to check their current offering. So let's discuss. So for your AMA, this is required. The electronic copy or the PDF cannot be used because gadgets, your mobile phones, or any gadgets are not allowed during the exam. So you really need to secure a hard copy of the book that you will bring on the day of the exam. So
That
what are the
exam,
different types? Yes, you were saying?
yeah.
Okay. So there are different types of medical coding exam that you can get from AAPC.
Okay.
The most sought after exam is your certified professional coder. If you will look for job advertisements, especially here in UAE, the basic requirements for you to secure a job in the coding industry is for you to have the CPC. CPC is the gold standard all over the world for medical billing because you are well versed in billing diagnosis using ICD-10, procedures using CPT, and of course, your chargeables for the equipment, supplies, medications, HCPCS. So it just says that you are a well-rounded coder. You can be a medical coder, you can be a medical billing. So having that CPC is, I think, the entry level or the standards that we can get for ourselves. Now, if you will just work for a clinic, especially for a physician office, a private practice, or has a specialization for if you're going to work for a brain surgeon or a cardiologist, a pediatrician, or all those like specialization that are in private practice. What they use is your outpatient coder because they are in a private setting or a clinical setting. Their patients are not required to be admitted in the hospital. So whatever services they do in their office, in their private practice, the codes that you will just use are limited or it will just be basic. So you can have a certification for your certified outpatient coder,
Yeah.
COC. Now, there, in the hierarchy, especially working in the insurance department of the hospital or billing, there is what we call also a certified risk adjustment coder. These are the ones that reviews the work of your coder. So before submitting the codes for the insurance, for the hospital or for the institution to be paid, they will make sure that the codes follow the guidelines of the insurance, of the government, and they are not violating any rules and regulations that will make the insurance deny them payment. And as we all know, if the hospital or the institution is denied payment for their services, that is a loss of income already. And with high denials of insurance claims, the hospital will not get their profits. So for your certified risk adjustment coder, mostly their focus is making sure that the correct codes for your diagnosis, for the medical conditions, as well as the codes for the services rendered, like procedures, operations, and your medications, supplies, is in accordance with the regulations and guidelines of the insurance. So one example would be if the patient went for a brain surgery and the person was charged or the hospital bill charges medications for obesity or unrelated medical problems. So that is something that the medical certified risk adjusted coder should look into because anything in the process should all be related. There cannot be an item, there cannot be a procedure that is charged to the insurance if it's not related to the primary diagnosis or the primary concern of the patient's hospital services. You also have your certified inpatient coder. So this can be for your clinics that admits patient on a small basis or even in the hospital. But the difference would relying only on the medical diagnosis. So you can have different examinations and different career opportunities that has different salary expectations for each certification or credentials that you have. For AHIMA, you only have two options. Either you will get the entry level or the basic level of your certified coding associate or your certified coding specialist. So your CCA is a basic level or one level lower than your CCS. But in the medical coding community as well as in the employment, it's preferred that you get your certified coding specialist. The exam is a little bit higher expectations or difficult in a way because there's additional questions that will test you in terms of your billing capabilities, your medical coding, translating the diagnosis into ICD, and as well as identifying the correct procedure in terms of your codes. So your CCS is equivalent to your CPC. So if you're thinking about taking the exam, I really suggest that you get your CPC or a CCS. Personally, I took the AAPC CPC exam because CCS contains some category in the examinations that I was not comfortable with. It has the procedural settings in the hospital setting, which I will discuss as we go on later on this course. So CPC or CCS. Now, your career opportunities. These are just some job advertisement I was able to find. You are really serious and investing your time, your finances in securing a job, in finishing this course, taking the exam, and looking for employment. So here in UAE, the average for a medical coder would fall at the lowest 4,000 to around 7,000, depending on the size of the company, whether it's a private or semi-private, if it's a multi-international company. So you can secure a job for that. And of course, if you're working in the government hospitals, the pay will be double or triple. I think it's around 10 to 12,000. So here in UAE, they prefer people who have experience, as we all know. But there are companies that hire freshers as long as you have the certification. So you see, for a career change or for an opportunity to get a higher paying job, getting your medical coding certificate is really one of the key to achieve that, our goals. So for this one, it's 5,000, 6,000 based in Abu Dhabi. This one, I think, American Hospital in Dubai. So I presume that it would pay higher because it's a big hospital. So in UAE, you have an average of around, I would say 10,000. These are for your big hospitals and government. This one, it's located in the US. In US, you are paid by the hour. So imagine, I think the minimum wage in US, maybe around $10 to $12. Now, if you are planning to work in an American-based company, may it be a business processing office here in UAE that has clients in the US, you may be get paid by the hour. Or if you are planning to migrate in the United States, it's around $22 per hour. So basically, this is above average their minimum wage. So it will translate, I would say, $3,000 to $4,000 per month, depending on the state. For me, I took the exam because I know that I'll have a better opportunity also when I go to Canada or the United States. So really, it's a good investment to complete and have your certification. In the Philippines, my home country, so the lowest they can offer is around 25 to 30,000. But if you're working in a company that caters to American or international um, clients, it can go to as high as 800 to $1,500. So when I took my exam in UAE, I wasn't really sure if I will be able to secure a job because I went here on a tourist visa, and with the limited time frame I was given, and the opportunity may not be that great because I have limited time. So I have a backup plan that when I return to my home country, I can secure a job that pays higher than what is the basic wage earners are. So they're 20,000. So that's around 400 to $500, or as high as 800 to $1,500. So again, these are the two institutions that you need to research about where you would like to take your exam, AAPC or AHIMA. These are the different types of exam that you will encounter for CPC. I suggest you research about CPC. For CPC, it's 150 items, multiple choice exam. For the other exams, it's just around 100. So your CIC and COC. So these are the required materials. Oh, sorry. For CIC, it's just 60 items, multiple choice. Then it's a scenario that you will need to fill out the correct answers using your ICD book and your CPT book, 10 items. For the others, it's still 150. You can also have a special certification, especially if the employer have a specialization in their field. And when you have a specialization, usually the pay is higher because you are only focused on the particular category. So for example, for your cardiology, you can have your cardiology certified certification. It's still 150 items, but you will use a lot of reference. But your focus of the exam would just be codes that has to do with your heart, with your cardiovascular system. So you will just limit the selection of the codes to a certain number. So it's up to you whether you will have a certification exam or just the entry level CPC exam. After passing the exam, if you will not work as a coder or bidder in the hospital or in a private clinic, you can also apply to be an instructor. So you will just take another exam and you will receive a certificate of training and certificate of passing, or in institutions like what we have now, or even applying in AHIMA, you will secure a job as an instructor for those future students who would like to take medical coding exam. And with AAPC, I heard the pay is already paid and you get travel opportunities because you can get booked for exam as a proctor in India, in the Philippines, all over the world. So for me, I'm planning to do this exam also, but I think next year. For AHIMA, you have your coding associate and you have your coding specialist. So let's discuss what's the different expectation